India remains in a bright spot among the emerging market peers. That's the view that is coming in as far as the IMF India head is concerned. He remains optimistic about, given the government recent push, India could also be on track for a double per capita income in the next 12 to 15 years. Let's listen in.
Well, I think the latest GDP data confirms a little bit the sense that we had about the trajectory of the Indian economy. We expected that 2016-17 would essentially be the low point of the deceleration. We would start seeing growth picking up in 17-18, the latter part of 17-18 and 18-19, of course. And this is now happening. And I think the growth number that we saw yesterday is pretty much in line with our forecast, more or less. We expect growth this year to be 6.7%. In 17-18 to rise then to 7.4% next year. So all in all, I think it confirms the recovery of the economy, and I think that is, of course, good news. We think so, definitely. I think India's economy has been held back more by idiosyncratic factors, by domestic factors. We've had several events such as demonetization and, of course, the GST introduction that have held back growth to some extent. But we also see that these factors have been temporary and they're fading now. And therefore we expect India really to pick up and reach a higher growth trajectory. I think sustaining this higher growth trajectory and maybe even moving up another notch, that is really the big challenge for India. And there what will be critical is the capacity of sustaining a high level of structural reforms. India has much to catch up on productivity side, but that needs enabling reforms in many areas. And so I always say that the reform effort in India has to be a marathon. It's not a 100-meter dash. It has to be continuous. And this is really what we're looking for when we think about the future prospects. No, I think, India is certainly growing already at an interesting clip. We have seen fairly substantive increases in per capita income, and associated with that, of course, also poverty rates have come down, which is ultimately the goal that we have, is raising living standards across the board. I think it's hard to pin down a specific number. With 7% real growth, per capita growth could be somewhere around 4 to 5%, and that means essentially that you can double per capita income in, say, 15 years or 12 years, depending. The question is, how can we add another percentage point? How can we reduce the time for doubling income? I think this is the real question. So India is on a good trajectory at this point, but the issue is always to be a little bit more ambitious, and I do think that the potential is there, but it will require really a big policy effort.